Rick J presents Spotlight on the Arts.
Welcome again to Spotlight on the Arts. I'm back in town, Washington, Missouri, with artist Gary Lucy, who has been working on a major project, as you see behind us, for the last, I'd say, about a year, from what I understand. And this is a recognition project involving what is called the best of small town living, the city of Caruthersville, Missouri. Welcome again, and let's turn it over now to Gary Lucy in recognition of the Caruthersville, Missouri Art Council project that they've asked Gary to work on. So Gary, I'd like to, if you would, kind of tell us the background on the painting.
Well, the piece of work is a piece that I grew up in Caruthersville, Missouri. That's down in the Boot Heel part of Missouri. And they have an arts council down there, and they wanted me to do a piece of work, and I completed the piece that you see here. It's entitled The Best of Small Town Living. And it's going to be the kind of centerpiece for a history museum that they're putting together in Caruthersville. They've taken the old Chrysler building that's there, and they're going to rehab it. And this will be part of the lobby. This is, right as you come in the lobby, this will be the centerpiece.
I see.
Eventually, what's interesting, we're going to blow this up 12 feet by 36 feet, and it's going to be featured on the outside of the building. There's a large garden area that's going to be there, and this will be center of the part of the garden area. It's been a unique piece. I've worked with them, and I've talked to them a little bit about basically what is important to them in town. Southeast Missouri, down in the Boot Heel, has always been a very strong agricultural community.
I see.
I grew up there. I graduated from high school in 1967, and as a matter of fact, as a kid, I picked cotton.
Oh my.
And had my own cotton sack and so forth. Of course, I went to my grandfather's cotton farm, and when I was about 10, 12 years old, I think I spent most of my time jumping around in the cotton wagon with all the cotton, and we'd get up and jump off in the cotton. But I did pick some cotton, and I understand the process and so forth. For this piece, what I did is I took the cotton stalk. As you can see, the stalk that's running through the whole piece over there, and it comes back in through here. I used the stalk to divide the thoughts of the piece, from the river to fishing to agricultural use and so forth, the bridge that's across the river there and down through these particular areas here. It started, this is interesting, the cotton basically opens with a little seedling like thing, blossom down here, and then it eventually blossoms into a larger piece here with the flower. And from there, then we'll come back to the fish later. Yes. And then we go to the bowl, very beginning of it. Then it starts to open, and then you have the mature cotton boll up at the top. So it's kind of a maturing, growing process there. And we have a nice cotton picker up here, a nice 6-row cotton picker. cotton picking has come a long way since 1960s. Since the day when I was actually picking it by hand.
Right.
Nowadays, cotton pickers are great. The cotton comes in and they literally roll it up like a bale. And of course, they're also about $1 million a piece too.
Yes.
And they're very expensive. And in Caruthersville, there is a company that, as a matter of fact, a fellow that I went to high school with has developed a company called the Grizzly Jig Company. They've been very successful on a national basis, and they produce fishing products of all types and so forth. So we kind of, and they go primarily, they're geared toward crappie fishing, you see. And thus we have the crappie here. And we got a couple of kiddos, and they're out there doing what they do best, and they've got one, and this is officially a grizzly jig right there.
Grizzly jig. Yes.
And you can see on the side of their tackle box, they got a Grizzly Jig Company logo on there.
Mm-hmm.
So Caruthersville is on the Mississippi River, and this is kind of a modern interpretation of the barges that move up and down the river.
Right.
There's really a nice bridge that runs across the Mississippi River that enables them to easily go over into Tennessee. When I lived there in the 60s, 50s, and 60s, we had a ferry boat, and that was the way to get across the river. It was Powell's Ferry. And my friend Charlie Miller, I graduated from high school with him. His father ran the ferry there. But and that was the only way really to get across the Mississippi River between Cape Girardeau and Memphis.
I see.
Yeah, I believe that's
Now, Gary, you live and your studio we stand in, it was only a block from the Missouri River.
That's correct.
I can see that, in a sense in my mind, that when you chose to settle in Washington, Missouri, and establish your gallery and a place to paint in your studio, it looks like you had a little bit of water in mind, being from Caruthersville.
Well, of course, Washington, I came to Washington in 1970. Actually, August 31st, 1970, I came up here, and I thought, this is a beautiful place to live, and so forth. And, of course, my studio and so forth, by chance, basically overlooks the Missouri River.
Yes.
And the view of the river really was instrumental in the initial phases of my series called Inland Waterways, the Highways of Our Heritage, you see.
Yes.
That was something that inspired me to work with the rivers, as to looking
I
in
see
through
you
there.
feel right at home, possibly making the transition.
Well, the river is part of it, and of course Reynolds Park is in Caruthersville. Reynolds Park is right down on the river there, and so forth. And the Arts Council, there's several ladies involved there. They're very fond of crepe myrtle. As a matter of fact, I play golf, and the golf course, the 100-yard marker is a crepe myrtle bush, and the 150-yard marker is a crepe myrtle bush on each side. So every hole has at least 2 crepe myrtle bushes on there to mark the yardage. Caruthersville's always been a very strong faith-based community, and that's the First Christian Church. That's the church that I went to whenever I was a kid.
Yes.
And next we have the Diane Sawyer Recreation Center. Diane Sawyer was the mayor of Caruthersville for about 30 years, and she was 1 year ahead of me in high school. We call her Mayor Sayer, and she was wonderful for the town and community. That is the water tower. They're really putting together a very active effort to keep that water tower, and historically goes back probably into the late 1800s, I would suppose. And of course we have the Caruthersville High School. Now that's the new Caruthersville High School. That is not the high school that I went to. The high school that I went to was destroyed in 2006. And of course, they had to build a completely new high school there.
Oh,
and,
I see.
It's interesting. They asked me to do a piece for the gymnasium, and I did a tiger face. It's a
Oh, I
Caruthersville
see.
tiger. Well, you see the tiger?
Yes,
It's
I
up there. You might snook right in on that
Yes,
tiger.
yes.
That tiger, I did a 3-foot by 3-foot painting of that tiger, and we blew it up 15 by 15 feet and mounted that in the gymnasium. And right behind the goal. And if you're looking at the goal, you're going to see a couple of eyeballs and the teeth down below the goal.
That may
It
be
was
in
a fun thing. I did that on purpose, by the way.
May-
The home team gets the advantage. They get used to that tiger back behind there, but the
Yes.
visitors may be a little intimidated.
Right.
We have various facets of the school. We have academics. And we have athletics, and of course a little band member over there from one side. And each year they have, for Memorial Day, they have what they call a flag day, and they take the street and line it with flags
Oh,
and so
yes.
forth. And that's basically where that particular that was the inspiration for that. So.
Yes. Now, can you tell us? There surely will be an unveiling
Yes.
ceremony. And
Well,
what-
as a matter of fact, and you may be filming it here, we're going to move the painting from the easel to the frame, and the frame is stretched out right in through here. I've got about 3 of my coffee shop associates.
Excellent. Yes, we'll be
The
doing-
highly skilled technicians from the coffee shop are going to come, and we're going to take it off the easel and put it in the frame. Jim Tobin at Walls Woodworking made this from scratch. This is what it in the raw state. Literally, I gave him a piece of molding, and he made the fingers. I made the whole 9 and made that from scratch. And then the backing, and then this is what the other side looks like finished. So this is really a piece of work here. Nice.
And you've been doing this over 50 years.
Well,
That's
I
nice.
quit my teaching job in 1972,
I see.
and I taught art for 1 year. I taught elementary art for 1 year. I grades 1 through 6, and I had a good bunch of kids. I had 5 schools and 630 kids, and
Oh, my.
so. But we had a good time, and I was young and full of energy, you know, to get it done.
Yes.
But I wanted to try my hand at it, and it was good because I was young and I didn't have debt or anything like that, you
Right.
know. And my wife, she taught, and we literally could live on her salary, but I believe my rent was only $70 a month for a house, you know, and so forth. But I was very lucky. I did wildlife art for 12 years, and then I converted from wildlife art to historic interpretation dealing with the rivers.
Yes.
But in 73, after I quit my teaching job, I entered the federal duck stamp competition.
Yes.
Folks probably remember that. It's not what that's not what it used to be.
Right.
But I got second place out of like 600 entries, you know, nationally and internationally. And they gave me some name recognition very, very early,
Sure.
which helped immensely.
Definitely.
And I didn't think the piece was that good a piece. I look back on it, but by George, it got second place.
Yes.
So I did wildlife for about 12 years, and then I made a big conversion to historic interpretation
Right.
and that sort of thing. So,
Gary, I sure thank you once
well,
again.
you're quite welcome.
It's always great.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Same here. So thanks to once again, everyone, for watching Spotlight on the Arts. I'm your host, Rick J. See you next time.
Bye-bye.